Good evening and welcome to the AIS Training Halls, the home of Premier League futsal in Canberra. It's grand final evening in the men's and women's competition, with the men's final kicking off in just a few moments' time between North Canberra Untouchables Black and Boomerangs FS. The women's to follow at 7:30, Canberra FC against the Untouchables. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me in the commentary box is futsal debut. Behind the mic, former Balcony United head coach Anthony Jagarinic. Anthony, does that feel funny than someone saying former after all this time?
Absolutely. It's actually the first time someone said it to me, and it's got me by surprise. But I like it, Russ. I like it. Unemployed.
We'll be hoping to hear your voice on numerous matches this season, starting with the Charity Shield, and the outdoor season commences on the 21st of March. Balcony United against Woden Western in the Women's Charity Shield, a very first Women's Charity Shield. Something you haven't got under your belt. Are you tempted to come back just for that game?
Possibly. No. It's exciting, and it's good to see that the women's game is keeping in touch with the men's game locally as well. So, looking forward to that. But, really excited about tonight as well, and for the men's and for the women's games in the grand finals.
And Canberra Olympic will play Tigers FC in the men's Charity Shield at Michaela Park for that one as well. We're here, though, talking about Futsal Premier League, and this is the grand final between these two teams. Boomerangs finished top of the pile with 29 points. NCU Black were fourth with 20 points. They played the fifth-place team, Timberwolves, in the semi-finals because the Prawns, who have won this competition in so many years in the past, pulled out just after Christmas and forfeited their last two games and their semi-final place. If you think that's going to make a difference in the results today, you've only got to look at the two matches between the two sides this season, Anton. The round 4 game finished 6 apiece, and in the round 11 game, Boomerangs came home 8-3 in a goal fest. So we're not expecting a goalless draw, are we?
Absolutely not. You look at that. You look at those goals. There's over 25 goals in 2 matches. So we're expecting, like you said, a goal fest, and hopefully for the spectators and for the crowd coming in now, it's going to be just that.
Hopefully there'll be a few people coming in to watch. So like I said, the women's on in an hour's time. That'll be on a different stream if you're tuning in to watch the women's as well. This game will finish on this stream, and a new stream will start up for the women's final. Both these sides scored plenty of goals this season. You're looking at Boomerangs having a bit of a warm-up in their white shirts. 61 goals for them this year, 55 for NCU Black. So as Anthony mentioned, plenty of goals likely to come in. Different semi-finals between the two, though. Boomerangs 7-0 rout over the Timberwolves. NCU Black taken to penalties after extra time against Soccer FC, a 1-1 draw, winning 5-4 on penalties. So maybe, are they sharper? Are they tired? What's your thoughts?
Futsal's a funny game. One or two things don't go your way, and that 7-0 turns into a 1-0 quite quickly. So, sharpness after a week off, in futsal. I know there's a lot of these guys playing or training in, pre-season games and, pre-season training. So, the sharpness might not be just there for the futsal, but I think that, like I said, one or two things don't go your way, or go your way, it can be a different score.
What you will notice when the teams walk out is the disparity in numbers on both sides. NCU Black can only field 6 fit players this evening. Boomerangs have 9 to choose from, and that's because Matthew Corrie, top goal scorer for NCU Black and the competition Golden Boot, 14 goals this season, broke his foot in the semi-final, is unable to take his place in the lineup. Victor Yanis, another of their futsal preeminent players, did his ACL, so he's out as well. So they're down to a bare 6.
Bare 6, and that's going to hurt. But, like I said, in futsal, sometimes the momentum, you stick with your momentum. The less subs potentially helps you keep that momentum rolling. So, it could work both ways.
What we're hoping for is a fast, open, exciting game, which we usually get in Premier League futsal. As the two sides prepare to come out into the training hall where the Futsal National Championship finals were held in mid-January.
Russ, if this theme song doesn't get you excited, you're not a footballer, are you?
You just need to hear it, don't you? The first chords.
Goosebumps.
Gives you goosebumps at any level, at any sport. Here they come, the two sides, led out by the referee, Richard Brown. Cameron Shelton will be on the other side, and Scott Boone will be the third official. Can have a look at the starting 5 for NCU Black. Raymond Moon in goal, Aidan Brown, Jason Farrell, Richard Moon and Joshua Brookhouse likely to start. Michael Sidney will be their one substitute. If he's here.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't think we've seen him just yet. He may turn up. Boomerangs will start with Zach Sorensen in goal, Daniel Giovinazzo, Ben Bassasilk, Arlo Hook and Jade James Ward. Nick Van Alst, Michael Ronaldo, Nick Dahl and Eli Darwich likely to be on the bench for them, and lots of options
Yeah.
Boomerangs, as we mentioned.
And lots of quality too there, Russ. So you look around the experience, the youth, but even the young guys that are quite young have been around the futsal scene in this Premier League scene for a long, long time now. So,
and there's two schools of thought, isn't there? I mean, yes, they might be tired because they have less players, NCU Black, but they can build a rhythm. They can build some momentum and some cohesion because they're going to be playing a lot of minutes together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like mentioned just a second ago, that, you keep that momentum going and, less subs, less disruption. So, I'm, slightly leaning that way at the start, but we'll see how we go for a couple of minutes.
Well, it's going to be Boomerangs to start us off. As Richard Brown prepares to get the Men's Premier League Grand Final underway. Just a little later than scheduled. Boomerangs in the white shirts. They'll look to start sharply if they can. If you've not watched futsal before, it is a fast-paced game. There will be lots of changes of possession. Should be easily covered at the back by Hook. Giovinazzo. It's James Ward. Ronaldo's ball forwards. He's starting the game. Here's Giovinazzo. Early possession, but nice pressure from Untouchables.
Yeah, it's interesting to see straight away the intent there. Boomerangs with a full press and NCU Black just holding off at halfway, waiting for Boomerangs to come to them. So it'll be interesting to see if that'll change as it goes.
Farrell asking much of Aidan Brown. I bet he fizzed it at his head.
Control that.
Waiting for the ball to come back on. There is no time off in this one, but there is timeouts. One per half per team. Ronaldo gets the first shot away. James Ward. Giovinazzo. Hook. Nicely done. And Arlo Hook tries to force his way through. Top coughed up possession again here. Here's Giovinazzo. Bright start this by the Boomerangs.
It's good. Nice full press. Won the ball back, lost it, and won it back again. So really showing their intent, wanted to go forward and maybe put an early goal on.
Shot from Ronaldo. Not going to test Ray Moon in the goal. First goal likely to be vital as usual. Might be an old football cliche, but it works for the same indoors as well.
Absolutely. I think that, just settle some nerves if you're the team that gets it. Bit of composure and then, you can build on that.
Talking about settling some nerves, I wouldn't mind my nerves being settled on this high platform that we're on. It's a bit ropey, isn't it?
I'm pretty used to being up this high, Russ. I'm not going to lie to you, but up on this scaffold's a bit dodgy.
You're closer to the ceiling than you've ever been.
How's your public liability insurance going on?
Last ask Capital Football. It's very wobbly. So we apologise if you lose us mid-commentary. Here's Ronaldo. Looks for Hook. Brown thought about one from range. Daniel Giovinazzo was having none of that.
Maybe relieve a bit of pressure. Aiden's trying to get the ball up the court. Hold off, relax under a huge amount of pressure from Boomerangs FS at the moment.
Farrell to Moon. Brown's touch, looking for Moon, and that's a decent foot in from Arlo Hook. It needed to be as well, as Richard Moon was on the move. I mean, they are the underdogs on paper, and the fact that they're depleted as well, it's going to make it difficult for them. And here's an opportunity, though, for Joshua Brookhouse. Opened up suddenly for him.
Absolutely. Really intelligent movement by NCU Black, finding the ball. Farrell getting the ball in, and do we hear a whistle?
Yeah, ball didn't go out of the area, I don't think.
Might be his first time.
Here's Ronaldo. Giovinazzo. Patient build-up. James J. Ward was involved. Ronaldo again, a little bit of acceleration. And Moon was well placed to clear. Good flick on that from Farrell, finds Brookhouse. They're soaking up the pressure from Boomerangs at the moment. Untouchables.
Absolutely, yeah. Ball to the byline, the cutback might hurt them.
A bit more experience in the Untouchables team, of course. Hook just took his eye off the ball momentarily. Opportunity here. That was a chance for Aidan Brown. He ghosted in.
Absolutely, and Aidan's really good at that. You know, he's a nice, sleeky player, left-footed, really, really intelligent. He's a bit of a no-look pass there as well, so watch out for him for tonight.
Yeah, Zach Sorensen was involved for the first time. Nick Dahl makes his way onto the court. It's Farrell, and that's his first involvement.
Nicky Dahl, super sharp. Seeing in another press straight away.
Another one with a good engine as well, Ant.
One you'd probably be jealous of.
Up and down.
You didn't do much down, that's for sure. You did plenty of up.
Definitely not much from where I was coming from. Here's Darwich. His first involvement. Bassa Silk. Dahl. Complete line change. Near enough, except for Hook, who's still out there. And that's what we're going to see for most of the evening, I think, is that Boomerangs utilising the extra numbers. Get some fresh legs on.
Absolutely, and really patient there too. You know, the last pass didn't come off, but if they can keep that patient, keep NCU Black moving around and you know, tire them out, like you said. You touched on 9 subs versus none at the moment. Oh, I actually see Michael Sydney.
He's here
on the bench now. Shinny's on.
Getting his boots on. Sure, we'll see him shortly. Here's Bassa Silk, drop of the shoulder, good hit as well, and decent save from Ray Moon. First real shot in anger.
Absolutely, and well held too.
Just a snapshot of what Ben Bassa Silk can offer, though. Just that little drop of the shoulder and the silky skills to get away and get the shot in.
Silky, I like it, Russ.
Still early days, of course. Into the 7th minute. Farrell. Brown. Brookhouse. Brown. Exchanging passes with Farrell, and that was the ball forward looking for Joshua Brookhouse. Didn't quite come off. Well, after 2 matches with bags of goals between the two, it's a cagey affair, as you might expect, though, for a final.
Yeah, I think so. 7-8 minutes in, and you know, maybe one real shot on target, but yeah, you would have expected a few more by now.
Credit to Untouchables defensively, who've been on the back foot for most of it. Bassa Silk. Challenge again from Brown. You do wonder how long they can keep up this defensive work, though, if they Boomerangs start to stretch them around and play the ball across court.
Yeah, their block started, you know, at halfway in the first couple of minutes, but we're already back down to the 1/3 line. So
good strength from Moon initially, but Giovinazzo won it back. Here's Dahl looking to twist and turn. Got past one, couldn't get past Brookhouse. Here he is again. Finds Brown.
Oh, switches on.
A bit of space for Farrell out on the far side. Brookhouse back to Brown. Moon ahead of him. Lost out here to Giovinazzo. Assessing his options. Daniel Giovinazzo's deflected! And it's in, and that's unfortunate. Off the chest of Joshua Brookhouse, but the first goal of the final goes to the Boomerangs. Daniel Giovinazzo with a hit.
And just like that, that's that futsal, you know, transition on halfway, deflected goal.
Goal, Boomerangs FC, number 4. Daniel.
It'll go down as a Giovinazzo goal, but it owed a lot to the deflection, unfortunately, off of Joshua Brookhouse.
To be fair, it was on target, but probably savable off the initial shot. But then after the deflection, Moon had already committed and it was too late.
Here's Richard Moon looking for an immediate response. That took a deflection as well, and Sorensen had to be sharp. Darwich on the break, on his own at the moment. Runs straight into Michael Sidney, making up for lost time.
Quality warm-up.
Dulwich has stayed down. Straight into the challenge, Michael Sidney.
Absolutely. I don't think there was any malice in that, but cop one in the face by the looks of it.
Looks in a little bit of trouble, Eli Dulwich. I'm sure he'll pick himself up in a moment. Like you said, no malice in there from Michael Sidney. Talk about introducing yourself to the match, though.
Just interesting on that goal there, Russ. It's probably the first time that Boomerangs have got Untouchables on a counter-attack and they've ripped the reward. So, it says a lot about maybe how they're going to play the game for the rest of it. Sit back maybe and expose the space in behind.
Well, the deflection definitely helped, but take nothing away from Daniel Giovinazzo, who won the ball, assessed his options and gave it a good hit.
Went forward very quickly.
It's a ball towards Moon. That's gone between both Sidney and Moon, though. Giovinazzo was able to see it out comfortably. Zach Sorensen's been largely unemployed in the opening moments. Halfway through the first half. Moon finds Brown. Farrell. Brown, nice move this, and Richard Moon's got in behind. Can't quite get on the end of it though, but there's a little warning to the Boomerangs of what the Untouchables have. And immediately Dahl finds Ronaldo, and it was an opportunity for two, and he couldn't quite hit the target.
And that was that. You see Untouchables draw him in, and super bit of intelligence, really good there to draw him in and play the ball in behind. But Boomerangs FS straight away on transition, get another shot on goal. Missed the target, but once again, it's that quick play that's going to get him unstuck.
Yeah, Mikey Ronaldo would be disappointed he didn't hit the target from there. It was a presentable chance for someone of his quality.
Absolutely, someone of his quality. You'd expect the net to rattle there.
I'm sure he'll have more chances before the evening's out, though. Brookhouse. Giovinazzo back to win. James Ward to Giovinazzo. Nice pick from James Ward. Another player with plenty of ability.
Absolutely.
Brown. Not sure that was from Aidan
What do you
Brown.
call that one, yeah.
It's worked out quite nicely for him.
I'm sure he'll name it later.
Dummied everyone, including everybody up here. Sold me, I'm not sure about you. Moon up to halfway, the goalkeeper. Thought about the shot and does hit one and wasn't too far away.
Speaking pre-game, apparently the keepers know where the back of the net is most of the season.
It's Ronaldo. Goes past one. Couldn't get past the second. Some tough challenges going in right now. Nick Dahl involved. Jason Farrell, perhaps the most experienced player on the court. Sidney. Farrell. He's going to fall for Giovinazzo. Options to his right. It's James Ward. Great touch. And the finish wasn't quite good enough to beat Raymond Moon.
Sensational there by Giovinazzo. Little no-look flick pass to his right. Oh, that way.
A free kick to Boomerangs. A little tug on the arm by Michael Sidney. A shooting chance perhaps for Michael Ronaldo. J. James Ward is with over the ball as well. They might have something drawn up here, or it might well be just a bash from Ronaldo. We'll see. Goes to James Ward. He tries his luck. That took another deflection off Brookhouse. Surely he wouldn't be that unlucky.
Pace off it.
Hook. James Ward. Giovinazzo. Bit of a loose one for him. That's a rarity so far. Sidney. Farrell. Looks for Moon. Brought it down nicely. Still got a chance for Moon, and he's put it over the crossbar. A really presentable opening for Richard Moon, who has 10 goals to his name this season, and an opportunity to draw his side level goes begging.
We've seen him score plenty of those goals before. That one's Probably one of the easiest chances he's going to get probably tonight.
Sorensen must have got a hand to it or a fingertip.
Corner ball, yeah.
Credit to Zach Sorensen then for the save. Moon wants the 1-2. Breaks for him again. And a combination of Silk and Hook means that comes to nothing. Better signs though.
Absolutely, I think that's going to be their trouble. If they're going to sit so far deep when they go forward, they're going to have to take those opportunities. At least put them on target.
Here's Moon again, creating the fifth man, and again he has a pop, and again it's the same scenario, almost in the same position, in fact.
Uncontested shot twice, but so it might be onto something there.
Hook to Jade Ward. Ronaldo, James Ward again. And that's an interesting clearance from Farrell's come off Brookhouse. Chance here for Michael Sidney to strike one. And I think Sorensen's got a save on that as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, fantastic. I think that one was on target. Really good play there. Outright to Sidney. Back stick. Good save by Sorensen.
James Ward comes off, replaced by Darwich. There's Moon again. To Richard Moon. Couldn't quite wrap his foot around that one. Better signs this from the Untouchables, though. They're still in this contest.
Absolutely. Deflected goal. Keeps it at 1-0, but yeah, it's very, very tight, like the score suggests.
About 4 minutes to the break. 20 minutes each way, of course. Here's Hook. Ronaldo. Neither a shot or a cross, really, in the end.
We'll give him a cross. What do you reckon?
Let's say he was looking for the run that didn't come.
That didn't come. I'll let you ask him later.
Sidney finds Farrell. Bit loose from Jason Farrell. Coughs up possession, but at least Untouchables can reorganise. Silk. Farrell makes up for that error with a nice toe in.
Just see Boomerangs FS really struggling to deal with the zonal block there. You know, can't find many clear opportunities through, so that's a credit to Untouchables. But like I said before, if they're going to sit this deep, they're going to find it really hard to go forward and score.
Darwich looks for the 1-2. Chance for Brookhouse to bring it away to Farrell. Good ball forward for Sidney, and Sorensen was there. Good piece of keeping, because that was a decent run from Sidney.
Absolutely. I thought the clearance might have been just on target as well.
I'm sure a claim of shots on target. If we were keeping stats, it would go down as well.
Absolutely. If you're a keeper, you take it.
Silk. Well, the weight of possession is heavily in favour of those in white. Giovinazzo. Darwich. Giovinazzo denied by Sidney.
Giovinazzo, son of Snaps by Sal, I believe.
Who's here tonight, snapping away.
Absolutely, you can't miss that camera.
Does a great service to the local futsal and football community with his images. Strike from Darwich.
Yeah, I was speaking to him pre-game. He's got emails and emails, 10 minutes after games that people, where are the photos? Sal, get them up. We want to see ourselves. So awesome that he's at most men's and women's games that he can get to.
Brookhouse. Dahl had a little nibble. Advantage played. And it's Dahl intercepting. Here's a chance, 3-on-2. Silk on the strike, and a decent save from Moon again. And again, Silk just dropped the shoulder and let the shot away.
Absolutely, that's that transition moment again, going forward, 3v2. It's on target there, but as we saw, pretty safe by Moon.
Darwich. Good turn, Giovinazzo, and he's blazed it over the crossbar. Disappointed in himself with the finish after a really smart turn.
No, he should have done better there, and he's got the capability to do better.
Intercepted by Dahl. Moon wins it back. Here's Sidney. Brown. Good ball forward. Farrell unable to take it in his stride though.
To be fair to Untouchables, 2 or 3 passes across the back. They are trying to find that highest player wrong side of the Boomerangs defence, so that might pay off.
Well, here's Silk from the other angle.
That's
Got a right foot on him as well. Shots becoming a more regular occurrence now from the Boomerangs. Deitch with the first header. Sydney won the second. Sorensen gets Boomerangs back on the attack quickly. Silk. Dahl. Giovinazzo. Darwich, brilliant. And Dahl was there, and it might be two, and that's a superb stop on the line from Richard Moon. Raymond Moon with the first save was excellent, and then the clearance off the line from Richard Moon was spectacular.
Absolutely, there. The second save there off the line made the goalkeeper save, look not even as good as what it was there, Russ. So really, really unlucky there for Boomerangs FS, but maybe that's a sign to tell for the second half, which may why.
A brilliant move though, and here's a chance for Darwich, and he's dragged it wide.
Great move there, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the move was outstanding. And we're running into the end of the first period, and that is half-time. And only the one goal to talk about, Daniel Giovinazzo with it, probably on the basis of what we've seen, a fair reflection.
Yeah, I think so. I think that if Untouchables are going to sit that deep, I don't think we're going to see the 6-0 draw like we saw in round 4 of the season. So the challenge now for Untouchables is how much pressure can they cop with the 4 or 5 different subs that Boomerangs FS have at their disposal, and how can they turn that defensive pressure and turn around and put one on the board. The challenge there for Boomerangs FS is they know they're going to sit. So now how much rotation can they get to try and create an opening, not just on transition, but when Untouchables are set up.
Well, you mentioned it before, and we've mentioned it throughout the first half, the fact that Untouchables only have the 6 players when the one substitute. You do wonder what they've got left in the tank, because all that defending in the first half would have taken an awful lot out of them.
Absolutely, and you saw the last 2 minutes when Untouchables did try to stretch a little bit. They copped probably the most shots against them in the last 2 or 3 minutes than they did in the first 17. So that might be tied coming back in transition from attack to defence. But the reality is now they're 1-0 down, so they might have to go forward and see how much legs they can get.
And you mentioned it in commentary, and when the goal did come, it was when Untouchables decided to attack it with numbers, and Daniel Giovinazzo turned the ball over. And yes, it had a slight element of fortune with the deflection, but he had options either side of him as well. And they've got to be wary that if they do push forward, and they're going to need to
absolutely,
score,
and I
they don't
think
get caught.
that where Aidan Brown lost it at halfway, he's trying to take a one-on-one marker with not much insurance behind him. So what's really working for them, I think, is when they move the ball around and try and hit a high target. But if you're going to get Boomerangs FS in a 1v1 and someone of Daniel Giovinazzo's quality and you put him on goal, yes, deflection, but I think it was still on target anyway.
I mean, teams you've coached haven't generally been 1-0 behind in any major finals that they've been in that I can remember in my memory.
I've played in plenty.
That you've been in. I was going to say you've been in a few yourself. At what stage do you think in this 20 minutes in the second half do Untouchables go, right, it doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4, we've got to go looking for this equaliser?
I think so. At 1-0, it's still a futsal match. They're going to have to make a choice eventually, and that'll come up to their coaching staff and to the players. But you'd like to think that 5, 6, 7 minutes in, 1-0 you're comfortable with. At 10, 11 minutes, you're going to have to start going. We can see the Boomerangs FS, they're not going to be walkovers in their defensive third. So the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, definitely.
Fifth man is obviously an option for both teams as the match progresses.
Do they have a fifth man?
I was going to say, with NCU Black, it doesn't really matter because Raymond Moon plays as that fifth man anyway, doesn't he? He's got the ability with his feet to come out. And we saw it in the first half. He was happy to bring it to halfway and get a couple of shots away himself. So we'll probably see a lot more of that in this second half.
I think you would, and like you said, we've seen him put 2 just over the bar from halfway, so he might get a little bit higher. They do have 1 sub, so that might be another option as well if they do want to play a flat-out fifth man. But Moon does have the ability to get up over halfway, and that did hurt Boomerangs FS a little bit. They got 2 uncontested shots on goal, so it might be an option.
Well, we'll see. 20 minutes between Boomerangs and Futsal Premier League Grand Final victory. Richard Brown went to start the second half. with the clock right behind us. It's just got us underway. Have Untouchables got a response? Brookhouse. Here's Darwich. Dahl. Thought about the shot from distance. James Ward. Not on the same wavelength as Nick Dahl on that occasion. Brown finds Moon. Farrell. Brookhouse. Farrell. Again, the run was good from Brown. Couldn't quite pick him out. Here's Nick Dahl.
Bit of the same flavour as the first half there, Russ.
Yes,
NCU Black happy to sit back and wait for the pressure, where Boomerangs putting a little bit more pressure on when they don't have the ball.
Very disciplined from Untouchables. When they lose possession, all four players back inside their own half.
Maybe that, less subs is playing on the back of their mind. Maybe they are happy to sit back and wait.
Well, they'll be looking for an opening at some stage in this half. Here's Dahl. James Ward, good efforts. Tried to trick Moon at his near post.
Wouldn't want to let him have a few more, too many of them.
Brown. Couldn't quite squeeze it past Dahl. Could Aidan Brown. Darwich. James Ward. Darwich once more. Good ball as well, finds Hook. Defending was Brookhouse. And Untouchables work that nicely out of defence, and it's a chance for Brookhouse at the other end. And Sorensen caught into action, or Van Alst rather, caught into action, makes a brilliant save. The change of keeper at half-time, and Nick Van Alst's first involvement was to preserve the lead.
Absolutely, it was a great one. But there we see the Untouchables again playing the ball around the back and finding that highest player. It's a great save and momentum shifter.
And here's a chance for Farrell. Van Alst just draws him in, and now they're short on numbers. Darwich looking to get past Aidan Brown. Hook finds Darwich once again. Tries a little trick, doesn't work. Moon, Brookhouse, Brown. Untouchables on the break now. Nice little bit of skill from Aidan Brown as he opened up an angle. Was an important block from Nick Dahl as Richard Moon was completely unmarked inside the area.
Absolutely, great bit of skill there by Aidan, and unlucky not to find Richard on for a backstick tap in.
Well, it seems more stretched already in the first couple of minutes of the second half. Strike from Brown. We'll go again on the far side. Women's grand final to follow. Brown hits that one. Take three. Here's Ray Moon. Looks for Brown, stretches the leg. Dahl, can he bring it away? James Ward, nice first touch. Hook arriving in support. Dahl, Hook, nicely worked, and a decent save from Ray Moon. Once again, there's some neat futsal.
Great bit of play there, yeah. Really quick on the counter attack. Didn't see their opening, came back, rotated. Little 1-2 and a shot on target.
Here's Darwich. Ronaldo. Ball given away, but James Ward has it back. Opens up the shooting angle, and a decent save from Moon once more. Made 3 or 4 of those now.
Yeah, waiting for one to hit the back of the net. James showed Ward there, 2 or 3 times, like you said, maybe 4 times inside shooting range with no blockers.
Ronaldo finds Hook. Brookhouse happy to see that one out and waste a few seconds. They're playing the long game here, aren't they? Untouchables.
There's that run again.
And they've got him behind. It's Brookhouse again, and didn't quite catch it as well as he would have liked, but Nick Van Aalst was forced into the save. But once again, great run from Joshua Brookhouse to get him behind.
That's an absolutely sensational run there, Russ. But I'd just like to ask, Boomerangs, they've had that same play 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a row now. They've waited and waited and waited, played the ball around their back third and hit the highest striker. So if they're not careful, it might hurt them.
Decent throw out. Ronaldo brings it down. Can he finish? Squeezed it past the keeper, but the angle was prohibitive. Definitely far more stretched than the first half.
Definitely, it's exciting.
Brown's ball forwards. Moon. Farrell. Giovinazzo in the way. Couldn't keep it in though. Brown for Moon. Looks to take on Ronaldo. Battle of the pace. There's only one winner there. Silk plays it forwards. Here he is, finds Giovinazzo. Nice turn from Daniel Giovinazzo again, and he looked for the run of Silk, and it didn't quite come off, but Daniel Giovinazzo running the show at the moment.
Yeah, he really is. I don't know if he knew how much time he actually created himself. He'll have his time again. He might put that on goal there, and with his ability, he can hit the back of the net from there.
Brown, that's asking a lot.
Maybe a bit of fatigue setting in.
Well, they're still in it. 13 minutes to go. It's only still 1-0. Ronaldo. Giovinazzo. I think that was a lofted pass looking for the run of Ronaldo.
He's so nice, Russ.
Here is Giovinazzo. Silk. Here he is again, Ben Silk. Looking to get past Farrell. Couldn't keep it in play, though.
He's done really well. They're unlucky that it rolled over play, but even the ball in, you see Boomerangs there first. The other 3 players sitting in near halfway, so all that hard work's going to get undone if you don't have people in the box.
Well, it's almost as if they're expecting the second goal, isn't it, rather than making it happen.
At the moment, yeah. Or not wanting to cop one, possibly. Maybe that's what it is, Russ.
Well, one would be enough, of course, if it stayed this way. Can't lose if you don't concede.
You've heard me say that before.
Once or twice. Not that your Belconnen United women's team conceded many. Very, very rare occasions. Here goes Ronaldo, turn of pace, gets a shot away, but it's into the side netting.
By design, Russ.
Nice turn of pace from Michael Ronaldo to get away.
Absolutely, side netting. They're getting closer.
Brookhouse, Sydney. Here's Ronaldo again. And J. James Ward was completely free there. If Michael Ronaldo could have found him.
Absolutely. The decision making there, maybe shooting when they should be passing and vice versa.
Sydney ploughing a lone furrow at the moment. Farrell. Sydney. Moon. Nice touch. Could see what was in his mind. Just run out of room to execute it. Ronaldo. Time ticking away. Halfway through the second half. Daniel Giovinazzo's deflected goal that only score so far in the Men's Futsal Premier League Grand Final. Silk. Giovinazzo. Silk. Shot away. Moon blocks with his legs. Dahl. Silk. Picked off by Sydney. Now an opportunity on the break. Michael Sydney. Farrell ahead of him. Sydney goes alone. Wasn't a bad idea, but Nick Van Aalst had it covered.
Absolutely. Nicky Dahl turned the 2v1 into a 1v1, and then he had to go around the outside and just wide.
Boomerang's turn. Dahl's pass inaccurate. Into the final 10 minutes. Is there a way back for North Canberra Untouchables Black? Brookhouse. Sydney. Brown. Van Aalst read the intentions.
I think he needed to as well.
That'll do for him as well at end of the park at this time of the match. Ray Moon look for the run of Brown. It's difficult with so many different colour lines on the court.
I was just thinking that before. They're doing really well to, I suppose, when you're on the court, you're switched on. From up here, it looks...
Oh, here's Dahl in behind. Chance for two should be on somehow. Ben Bassasilk has missed a gilt-edged chance. Open goal. You had to put your mortgage on that one. If you did, you'd be homeless.
Absolutely. Like, Untouchables attacking on transition. Boomerangs really opened up a part. Nicky Dahl, the unselfish option, squared it across to an open goal. But we all know that's got to hit the back of the net from there, especially at 1-0 in the grand final with 8 or 9 minutes to go.
Well, Ben Bassasilk just cast his eyes to the heavens there. He couldn't believe that he's missed that chance. Will it come back to haunt them?
Thinking about his celebration, possibly.
Yeah, before he scored.
Absolutely.
Well, it looked easier to score. I've seen him score from much more difficult angles than that. But there's still life in Untouchables. Here's Dahl looking to extinguish it. Spun around, and we're going to get a timeout with 8 minutes left. And it's pretty much the same pattern as the first half, with a lot of weighted possession with the Boomerangs. But there's been a couple of really good openings for Untouchables, and Nick Van Aalst has had to be on his toes.
Absolutely. You think back to the first or second minute of the second half where, Nick Van Aalst saved an almost certain goal. So, that could change the score. We look at Bassasilk there missing a clear open goal. So, could have been 1-1-all. It could have been, 2-0. So we look at, how much the Untouchables are going to hurt, missing Corey and Yarns and only having one on the sub. But, with 8 or 9 minutes to go, like you said, Russ, they're doing well. The transition, they're going to try and pick them off. And, if they don't cop one, they're going to be in for a chance.
And it should be dead and buried, really. I mean, Bassasilk should really have scored from that range. But you look at that from an Untouchables point of view and you think, well, maybe it is our night. Maybe we can nick one on the break and get back into this one, and who knows from there.
Absolutely. We talked about pre-game, Russ. The games those little moments, they can turn a game into 7-0 or that can be a 1-all match. So, that one there, it's kept it at 1-0, but it's almost a subbable offence, isn't it? You'd almost want to put your hand up and missing an open goal like that.
Keep walking down the tunnel. If Untouchables do score, we will have an extra time period of 3 minutes each way, and then a potential penalty shootout of 3 penalties each.
You'd like to think that if Untouchables do score, they'd want to score 2.
They wouldn't want an extra time, even 6 minutes, as little as it sounds.
Yeah, on these.
Here's Dahl intercepting opportunity. It's come for Dahl again, and that might well seal it. Nick Dahl, second bite of the cherry, wasn't going to miss from there. And it's 2-0.
That's a great finish. It's a full press. It's, Untouchables have been working really hard on sucking him in and playing the third man in behind. But that one, Nicky Dahl said no thanks and went straight through him and then said thank you very much. I'll take that.
From an Untouchables point of view, again, you think, well, that's a bit unfortunate. It's taken 2 bounces and gone straight to him.
Absolutely, especially the first goal deflection right off the back of their own timeout as well.
It's a long way back for Untouchables from here. It's hard to see them doing it, to be honest.
Absolutely. At 2-0 now with 8 minutes to go, 7.5 minutes to go, Russ, you'd think that it's either going to be 2-all or it's going to be 4 or 5-0.
Yeah. Stranger things have happened, though. Here's Brown. Looking for the runner, Sydney. Almost picked him out. Boomerangs, as I said, did finish 9 points clear of NCU Black in top spot. Oh, and that's a chance here, and that's a real opportunity. A mess at the back. Josh Brookhouse takes advantage, and the Untouchables, presented with a gift, are right back in this.
Absolutely. So there's a gift. So, copped 2 unlucky goals off some deflections and a gift. Like you said, Russ, stranger things have happened.
Well, the last 2 minutes of Ben Bassasilk's futsal career, perhaps not his finest. Missed an open goal at one end and presented one on a plate to Josh Brookhouse at the other, his 9th of the season. And that'll breathe some life as Brown goes, oh, and it's another one! Would you believe it? An error from Van Alst, and all of a sudden, from us saying the game was dead and buried, it's now 2-2, and it's very much game on.
Well, I think if you recall, Russ, we said it's either going to be 2-2 or 5-0, so we're 2-2, we're halfway there.
Well, you called it, and it is a timeout. Wow. And a remarkable minute of futsal. And that just goes to show what the game's all about. It can just happen just like that. 2 errors completely. Basasilk gives Brookhouse a goal, and Van Alst, he's been eating them up for breakfast all year, somehow drops it in his net from Brown. Shot Aidan Brown almost apologetically. They didn't want to celebrate.
Absolutely. We talked about Nick Van Alst there in the first minute or the second minute of the second half. You know, he saved something he probably shouldn't have, and then a regulation, catch just above the forehead, lets it go in. So, credit to Aidan. The shot's got to be on target. It had a bit of venom behind it. And you've got to take those chances. And, futsal and football's a funny game. And sometimes you've got to drop your weight. And it is for Untouchables at the moment.
Well, incredible turnaround. It didn't look likely at all, did it? I mean, at 2-0, once the second goal went in, we thought it was dead and buried. You did mention it could be 2-2. And we've come back into that scenario. And we've now got, 6 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. And who's the momentum with is the question.
Well, exactly right. And you look at Untouchables have been sitting down for, the first 30 or 35 minutes have been sitting and waiting, and they've scored 2 goals on a full press. So, it makes you wonder, are they going to go press? Are they going to go for the win now? Or are they going to continue to sit and, give Boomerangs FS a chance to get back in with good attacking possession?
Well, the score still says 2-1 to my left, but it is 2-2. VAR didn't call that off, did they?
You won't take that goal off, Aidan.
Here's a chance straight away for Basasilk to restore the lead. Dahl finds Basasilk. Can he squeeze it in? Good defending for Untouchables. They've got a new lease of life, of course, is Darwich. Basasilk, shooting chance for Dahl, and he puts it into the bottom corner. And just like that, Boomerangs have their lead back. Incredible period of play.
Absolutely, and well deserved, to be fair. The rotation was good. They didn't rush it, previously they were trying to find a free man that wasn't there, but they used the rotation. They came in, I think twice, and the third time, Nicky Dahl backstick inside of your foot, calm as you like.
Decent finish from Dahl again, and Untouchables, having got right back in it, have it all to do once more. Here's Brown looking for the shots. Darwich was in the way. Have they got it in them to do it again? It's a hammer blow to concede straight after you've scored to make it 2-2. Good use of the timeout, though, from Christian Collins.
Absolutely.
Just took the momentum out of the Untouchables sails momentarily.
I think the Untouchables were too busy using their water bottles as mannequins in their little timeout. They might have forgot about futsal a little bit.
Perhaps surprised to find themselves level, albeit for about 15 seconds. That's futsal for you.
Absolutely. Crack the last couple of minutes now.
We're sitting at 1-0 for a large portion of the match, and then 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. Maybe 6-all still on the cards.
Here we go. Let's hope so.
Darwich finds James Ward. Back to Darwich again. Lovely touch. And here's James Ward almost with a tap-in. Brown with a heroic piece of defending to deny him. Lovely futsal, though, from James Ward and Eli Darwich. A combination fantastic to watch.
Yeah, they look like they've been doing it for a long time together, and it's showing the link up and the communication between them. And without words, it's really good to watch.
Here's Giovinazzo. Darwich. Is this a bad time to remind you that you've got to help pick the player of the match afterwards as well? Plenty of contenders. Here's Darwich, and Moon denies him a goal on the big stage. He's put his hand up, hasn't he, Raymond Moon's made 5 or 6 great saves.
Yeah, I was just about to say that could have been a different game without him. To be fair, some were easy saves, but there's been a lot of ones that he's had to work for.
3.5 minutes to play. Boomerangs with a slight advantage, 3-2. After leading 2-0 and seeing their 2-goal lead dissolve in the blink of an eye, they've hit back straight away. Can the Untouchables dig into the reservoirs and find something else to lift them back into this contest? Darwich finds Giovinazzo. Hook. James Ward. Giovinazzo. James Ward again. Robbed by Brookhouse. Farrell. Sydney. Slightly heavy touch. Wins it back though. Farrell. Moon. Too short. Darwich picks it up. James Ward. And the shot from Hook.
Boomerangs FSA just happy to play the backwards ball first. Keep possession, wait for the press as we see again from Giovinazzo.
Here is Giovinazzo. It's going to bounce nicely, and a real chance for James Ward, and he's just dragged it wide. The spin on the ball took it beautifully into the path of James Ward.
Absolutely great touch and great hit on the swivel, unlucky there.
Moon couldn't squeeze it past Darwich. Women's Grand Final coming up on a different stream to this. Just tune in to the other stream and you'll be able to watch the Grand Final for the Women's GF, where myself and Anthony Jagarinic will go through that one as well. Here's Brown on the turn. Can he get a shot away? He can, but Van Alst firmer behind this, and he tries to get Darwich away. Important deception from Farrell.
Absolutely. We've seen Aiden take the letter off the ball from that kind of distance. He don't know if he popped the bobble or if he pulled out, but normally you'd see that hit the back of the net.
80 seconds to play. Giovinazzo. Van Alst. Deflection will go out for a corner. No rush for James Ward. 60 seconds between Boomerangs and Grand Final glory. But gee, they've been made to work hard for it. Darwich. Giovinazzo.
Yeah, it hasn't been that 9-point game that we talked about, on the ladder, so it's been a great game.
It's been everything you'd hope the final would be, and it's huge credit to the Untouchables with their depleted squad that they managed to push Boomerangs this far into the final 30 seconds or so. Farrell couldn't find the runner. Darwich. Opportunity to kill it off. It's Eli Darwich, and that's a good bit of defending by Aidan Brown just to put off Darwich, who drags his shot wide. It could and perhaps should have been 4.
Absolutely. Another really good chance there. Aidan's done well just to put enough pressure on, but not to give away a corner.
Well, we're into the final 10 seconds, and that's probably going to be it. Van Alst launches one forward to Darwich. He can put his foot on it for the final seconds of the match. And Boomerangs FS are going to come out victorious. Perhaps not in the manner in which we expected it 2-0 though, and it was game over, you thought, when Nick Dahl scored to make it 2-0, but an incredible 60 seconds in which Aidan Brown and Joshua Brookhouse were presented with absolute gifts. Made it 2 apiece, but only for Nick Dahl off the back of a timeout to win it for Boomerangs.
And absolutely, and I think that we, all 4 of the first goal, 2 from Boomerangs and 2 from Untouchables, had a sense of luck on it. But I think the match winner from Nick Dahl, the rotation, the patience, and like I said, the eventual match winner was probably worth the grand final winner based on that match.
We'll be back shortly on the other stream, as I said, for the women's grand final. You can stay here for the presentation of this one. Myself and Ant will be back shortly for Canberra FC versus Untouchables in the women's Premier League grand final. The men's final, though, goes the way of the Boomerangs. A goal from Daniel Giovinazzo, added to by a brace from Nick Dahl. Either side of a strikes from Aidan Brown and Joshua Brookhouse means the Boomerangs have come out on top. It's finished NCU Black 2, Boomerangs 3.
The first award of the evening is the Golden Boot Award for most goals scored during the regular season. I want to congratulate Matthew Corey from North Canberra Untouchables, who takes up the season's award with 14 goals.
Do you want me to swap those things around?
Yeah. That'll be right.
You can't.
Give it.
I can, because I can just turn around and see it from there.
Yeah, there. Yeah, just keep it over there.
Carlos just like, where am I?
Our next award goes to the player of the match. The award for Men's Futsal Premier League Grand Final Player of the Match goes to Boomerangs Nicholas Dahl.
It does.
That should. It's 20 now. There you go.
Continue our ceremony by recognising the match officials for the excellent job they've done both tonight and throughout the season. The match officials on today's match were Richard Brown, Cameron Shelton, and Mr. Scott Lee. I'd like to now call up the captain of North Canberra Untouchables to introduce his team and to collect their awards.
First of all, congratulations to the Boomerangs. You guys are definitely the pinnacle for futsal in the ACT, representing Canberra, broadly in the New South Wales Premier League. So there's always going to be an uphill battle playing with 6-30-year-olds against some of you guys. So apologies to all the fans that came out to watch the grand final of futsal tonight. All we could do was sit back and let them run it. So thank you for coming out though. And lads, congratulations and good luck in the New South Wales Premier League. Thank you to Capital Football for the comp and the rest as always. Thank you. We'll give you guys all the help during the season. Joshy Hookhouse, Aidan Brown, Ray Moon, Richard Moon, Michael Sydney, and Paddy Corey.
And now for the winners and the 2019-20 Men's Futsal Premier League Champions. I'd like to call forward the captain of the Boomerangs to introduce his team and to collect their awards.
Alright, guys, I think I'll keep it short. Jason summed it up quite well. But first of all, thanks to Untouchables. Every year it's a battle between us and you. Even though you're 30, you still went right to the end. First time of the year, you had a crowd. Makes a little bit different every week. It just gives us that little bit of energy to put it into last minute. So thank you again for coming out. And just lastly, thanks to the boys. Finally, after about 10, maybe 15 years, we finally won one. So well done. We'll start with Arlo. Illy. Mike.
And that concludes our presentation. Congratulations again to all the award winners, the Women's Futsal Premier League Grand Final match.
Welcome back to the AIS training halls. It's the futsal grand final. Part 2, the women's version, is Canberra FC versus North Canberra Untouchables. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me as he did for the men's, Anthony Jagarinick. Anthony, there's plenty of familiar faces that you'd know out there, being the former coach of Belconnen United, and we're anticipating a decent match here between the sides that finished first and second in the competition.
Absolutely. Just looking out on the court on both sides, there's a huge amount of quality, and this is going to be a really, really exciting match.
As in the men's, goals weren't an issue for either of these sides this year. Canberra FC